She's a winner.
And welcome to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, where you take enlightened entrepreneurs, coaches, and influencers together to discuss cutting-edge topics in the world of relationships, culture, business, and spirituality. And here's your host, Miss Carol Boston.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show. I'm so excited to be here. I was just trying to stream this to my audience, and I was busy chatting with my techie person and forgot to stream it, so it's not going to my page right now. So I'm going to see if it'll let me do it real quick. Bear with me, audience. You know I want to make sure I can reach as many people as possible. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about communications, being a professional athlete in your business, what that looks like. Say something to the live stream. Forgive me. It says, forgive me, Aruba. It's asking me to reconnect to Facebook again. Doesn't make sense. I do this every week. But you know Facebook and StreamYard, so technical communications. Let's go. All right, now we're streaming. Thank you for your patience, everybody. You know, I'm your weather girl. It is a freaking gorgeous, although be it, what's going on? Although very warm day today. We're up in the 80s. Last week was Chamber of Commerce weather. It was incredible. Day after day, not a cloud in the sky, gorgeous blue in the low 70s, light breeze, incredible. That's why everybody comes to Florida in the wintertime. No guest today. Usually there's no guest on the first Wednesday of the month, but next week we're going to have a guest, and her name is Erin, and you're going to want to be here. She and I are going to be promoting not only the rest of this week and next week before she comes on the show. I'm going to have her briefly on my Facebook Live show, which airs on Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on my Facebook page, Carol's Courage to Confidence Corner. So she's going to give you just a couple of little nuggets. You're going to go, oh, man, I got to come back and hear her, right? So, Erin, we're looking forward to having you. To be totally candid today, I didn't even want to do this show. I didn't feel like showing up. But here's the thing. One of the things I help my clients with is how to become a professional athlete in your business. As an ex-collegiate professional tennis player, I know what that's like. And the very first thing a professional athlete does is they show up no matter what they feel like. Right? Last night was super late, short night's sleep. I was driving to an appointment earlier today at 11:30 and literally like this, fell asleep in my car sitting at a red light. I thought, this is crazy. This is crazy. And I came back here and I'm like, I just don't feel like doing this show. That's the very reason I showed up today. Because you don't show up for you, right? I'm here to serve you, not me. And that's the very first step. That's a writer downer for you. I'm going to go over here and click on the comments. If you're joining me here today, you know I love to have a dialogue. I'm not all about a monologue. I hear myself talk all the time. I want to know what you think and what's on your mind, right? The second step a professional athlete gets to learn in their business is that you get to do the same thing over and over and over, right? Bearing in mind that it's never, ever, ever going to be absolutely perfect. But are you willing? Are you willing to get in line and stay in line? And how long can you hold the vision? Right? How long can you hold the vision for what you really want? When I was at LSU playing tennis, one of the things that we would be assigned to do sometimes at the end of a 2.5, 3 hour workout is, for those of you who are not familiar with the tennis court, there's the regular singles court, and then each side has a doubles alley. And it's not very wide, right? It's a doubles alley. Ellen Mingione. Hello, Carol. Hello, Ellen. So glad to have you here. And our coach would assign us, let's say it was my forehand and the other person's backhand because they were right-handed. And we would have to hit the ball back and forth 100 times in a row. We couldn't leave the court. Do you have any idea how frustrating that is? Especially if you were quite accurate and got paired with somebody who was not accurate. Right? But that's one of the things a professional athlete does in their business, in their life. They understand that they get to do the same thing over and over as they work to hone it and to improve it. Ellen, let us know where you're chiming in from and what the weather's like where you are. You know, wherever I go, I'm the weather girl. Another thing I learned that I help my clients learn is that sometimes sometimes you get to practice when everyone else is resting. Does that mean you're a workaholic? Absolutely not. You're not a workaholic. But there are times when everybody else wants to take off. Oftentimes, let's just say in business, oftentimes that's around what? Black Friday. And then I know a lot of salespeople who don't want to pick up the phone and make sales calls in December because they're like, it's the holidays. Nobody's going to be there. Are you kidding? The people who are there are like the CFO or the decision makers that you want to talk to. That's the time to make those calls. Also because people are always planning, right, for the next year. Not always, but a lot of them are. Planning for the next year. That first year that I was at LSU, I was very excited. I played number 6 on the tennis team, and the top 6 get to play singles, and I played number 3 doubles as well with my doubles partner from high school. Ellen says, I'm in Delaware. It's mild, gray, and cloudy, per usual. Well, Ellen, it's Chamber of Commerce weather down here, per almost usual. Wish you were down here. Let me know when you're coming back. Sorry you missed your last trip. So I didn't start playing tennis till I was 15, very late. Won't give you the whole long story today, but I was grateful to be at LSU. I was on a half scholarship. I had turned down some full scholarship rides to other colleges. I really wanted to be an LSU Fighting Tiger. For those of you who follow me, you know I'm an LSU Fighting Tiger even after all these decades, right? And I got to play number 6 in singles. All these girls were way better than me. They've been playing since they were like 5. So I made it through the end of my freshman year, and all the other girls were taking the summer off. And there was a guy at LSU named Steve. He was on the men's team, and we decided we were going to get on. It was the last tour that you could do until you turned professional. And it's called, at the time, it was called the 21 and Under Tour. I don't even know if they still have it. And the thing was, if you were in the top 16 seeds, you got to have free housing. Well, neither one of us had money. And that was back in the day when it was a lot safer to hitch a ride, right? So there we were through the deep south up the East Coast playing tennis tournaments all summer, working our, what's off to stay in the top seeds so that we always at least had housing. And that's what I did for the summer. Came back in August and we had tryouts. Now, all the same girls were on the team. I keep saying girls, but come on. We were 18, 19, 20. And then we had one new freshman from Canada on the team. And we had all the tryouts, and I went from playing number 6 to playing number 2. And those girls that I beat never beat me again. I then went on to play number 1 by the end of the next semester and played number 1 for LSU and was team captain for 3 years. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to tell you that I made a decision to work that summer when everybody else was resting. And it paid off. So what one area of your life or your business are you not willing to show up if you don't feel like it? Are you not willing to be consistent because it's boring or I'm tired or whatever? And where is it that you could be practicing? You could be working when everybody else is resting so that you could get to the next level, right? Because every one of us, even the top people making multi-millions of dollars, they have days where they just don't feel like it, right? But our feelings are fickle. We can't run our lives by our feelings. We talk about it all the time, right? When emotions go up, intelligence goes down. So I'm reading the third in the series, The Go-Giver Influencer. Now, I would love to take the time to read it to you. I read a chunk of it the other day on my other show. But the bottom line is this young man had started his own healthy, all-natural pet food business. And he was doing pretty well. He had a lot of mom and pop shops that were selling it, and they had great relationships, but he was in a bind because he needed to get money from the bank or he was going to go out of business, right? In order to scale, to grow. We've been there, right? So he has a meeting with this other company. The company basically wanted to buy him out to scale. The meeting did not go well. So someone referred him. They said, you need to go talk to the judge about natural negotiation, right? So he ends up having breakfast with this judge. She was an attorney for many, many years. And the first thing she taught him is that anytime you're in a dispute, the first person you're in a dispute with is yourself. We get into disputes with other people when we are not in alignment and in agreement with ourselves. We're in a dispute with ourselves. Fascinating read. Maybe we can delve deeper in that on another day. And then she was talking to him about being able to set aside our feelings in negotiations, which most people have a terrible time doing, right? They want to take it personally. It's all about me. Look at what this person's doing to me. Not really. They can't do something to you unless you choose to take it on, right? So she asked him a question and he said, oh, that happened to me 20 minutes ago on my way here. So a guy had cut him off in traffic. And she asked him how he responded. And he said, oh, he made a gesture that he wasn't proud of. And he screamed so loud he thought he was going to break the windshield, right? So she said, well, what if that guy had just gotten news that his daughter was being run into emergency surgery and he was distracted? Jackson said, but you don't know that. She said, you're right, I don't, and neither do you. All we have are the facts. And the facts are, he cut you off. You chose to be emotional about it. You chose to almost blow your windshield out screaming and ranting and raving. She said, you get to put your emotions in the passenger seat, not just in your driving. This is a whole analogy for our lives and for business. It doesn't mean you don't feel them. It doesn't mean you suppress them, but you don't let them rule. You don't let them run the conversation or run your behavior. She said, the bottom line is you're the one that could have caused the wreck because you were the drunk driver, right? Because you were driving on emotion. Think about that. Ellen, let me know what you think about that. And that's all paraphrased. The book is much more articulate than that, but it was so powerful. I went back and read it two or three times. Years ago, back in 2007, 2012, I was in a 5-year relationship. And I'd come home and she'd go, I don't know how you do it when people keep telling you no. And I said, they're not saying no to me. They don't even know me, right? They're saying no to that opportunity. What I've learned since then, especially when I've learned about empowering questions and speaking into somebody's modality, is that when someone says no or not right now, you just haven't shown enough value, right? So one of the things I teach my clients is the art of influence. It's a sales process, 7-step sales process that doesn't feel salesy, but it shows tremendous value. It allows you to take authority and credibility in the call from the very get-go. How many of you would like to hear about the art of influence, right? It's powerful. It's changed some of my clients' lives, right? And speaking of, because a lot of you are in business, you're either entrepreneurs or you want to be entrepreneurs. Maybe you've got a hobby on the side that you want to grow. I read something else interesting, and I can't remember where I read it, but it talked about when you're in a sales call with somebody, there's a big difference between their response if they're disappointed or they're surprised. So if you're speaking to someone and it's time for you to give them the investment in your program and tell them about your program and close the sale, and they go, oh, man, I'm so disappointed. That's not the time to lower your price. They're disappointed because you've already shown them enough value. They just don't think they have the money to do it, so they're disappointed. But in that same scenario, if you're sharing and somebody goes, oh, that's surprising. What that tells you is you haven't shown enough value, and so they think that the investment you're asking for is too high. Think about it. Big difference between being disappointed and being surprised. Right? How many of us have been in a sales call and somebody's trying to sell something and we're like, never saw that coming, right? Because we hadn't seen enough value. What's one thing that you could do? I'll give you a golden nugget right now. You're in a sales call and they say no. The last thing you want to do is discount your price, your investment all of a sudden. And it's not a price. Your program doesn't cost anything. They're investing in themselves. Yes? The price, the cost is what's it costing them if they don't do it? Right? Especially if you're the one, you know, and they know that you can help them. Right? So think about that. Same thing goes on in relationships, right? We get to set boundaries. We get to say no when we mean no. Definitely one of the things I help my female clients with, having healthier boundaries, getting comfortable with your no. Because when you get comfortable with your no, your yes has so much more power, right? So back in early 2019, I ended a 32-year friendship. First friend I ever made here in South Florida. 32 years. Some people are like, I don't understand. The relationship had seen its course. The relationship had become toxic. She was not meant to go with me to the next level. You can't take everybody to the next level with you, right? Where is it you're saying yes to someone when you really mean no? And then you what? You get upset or you regret it, or like, oh God, I have to go to this party, or I have to go to this meeting, or whatever it is. Number one, you don't have to. You get to, because you get to operate from a place of choice, and you chose to say yes, even if you meant no. Right? So you get to own that you're 100% responsible for that situation. That's how, as leaders, we operate at level 4 responsibility. I am 100% responsible for everything. That becomes a challenge when the person you're working with is doing what? Operating at level 1 responsibility, where they're like, oh, I'm a victim. Nothing is my fault. Everything happens to me. Nobody likes me. Yada, yada, right? No power, no control, because they think they have no choice. Everything's happening to them. I don't know. What if everything was happening for you? Right? What if everything was happening for you? One of the most powerful tools you have as a person, not just a business owner. Let's just talk about how we do anything is how we do everything. One of the most powerful tools you have is good, clear, effective communication. Good, clear, effective communication. One of the things I'm going to be talking about as we move forward is a huge opportunity I was presented today that I'm super excited about, very cutting edge. And she said, one of the reasons that we chose you, you were number one on our list to do this, is because you were so good at taking words and having them make sense. They're clear, they're specific, they're not wordy. You're great at reframing things so that people understand it. And this is a new venture that we really want people to understand. I don't know. Where in your communication could you clear things up? How many of you have been in a relationship? Come on, put it in the comments for me. Well, you should have just known. That's not what I meant. Holy crap. Talk about operating from level 1 responsibility. You're responsible for how your message lands. Now, there's a difference in how your message lands and how they choose to receive it, right? I was just speaking with a good friend, encouraging her to craft her message from a place of love, because that's who she is. This woman's got a freaking amazing heart for other people, right? She gives and gives and gives every day. She didn't get paid for it. She has a big heart. The other person could still choose to not receive it well and to not hear it in the manner that it was sent. That's not her responsibility. Your responsibility, my responsibility, is how we craft the message and how it lands, right? Remember, none of us see the world as it is. We don't. We see the world as we are. We're looking through our lens of our experiences. What if you could get inside the lens of the other person and see their map, their view of the world from their viewpoint? Do you think you could communicate more effectively with them? I don't know if I shared this here. I think I shared it on my other show a couple of weeks ago about communication, and 2 summers ago, maybe going on 3 now. Yeah, 21 was the second year of COVID, right? So yeah, going on 3 years this summer. I had a client. She was in my 6-month private one-on-one coaching program. We were about 3 months in. She was in politics and had hired me. We were working on very successfully, moving her up the ranks. But one night I'm sitting there and I get a text from her. And she says, I wanted to say thank you, and I wanted you to know you saved my marriage. Came to me for business and saved her marriage. How is that? Effective communication, the art of listening, the art of asking empowering questions. Now I get to watch pictures of her and her wife all over Europe. They've been traveling, having a blast, says they're happier than ever. That's 3 years later, right? And what all that boils down to is what? Leadership, right? Most clients hire me because they want to grow their business. I mean, I've had some, not very many, couple corporate, most of my clients have been entrepreneurs, corporate clients who've hired me, not because they want to start or grow their own business, but they want to create a new space for themselves in the organization, or me help them make a decision as to how to go and where to go elsewhere to fulfill exactly what they want. What's a big part of that? It's leadership. Oftentimes I'm told that leadership, Carol, personal development, that sounds like work. Nobody wants to pay for work. Sell them what they want. So I do. They want to grow their business. That's where we start. But in order for that business to grow, they get to grow, just like me. It's why I continue to invest in my own personal growth and development all the time. What about you? What about you? I'm looking in the comments. Come, let me know. Let me know what's going on. You know, I love having a dialogue. Sometimes I wish my technical assistant here, she's amazing, would just put something in the comments for me, right? Because she and I have some good comments back and forth when the show's over. I was just thinking, I didn't feel like showing up here today, right? But apparently I get to show up because I had a lot to say, because I want to convey that to you. The power of the word is incredible. Where are you not keeping your word to you? Think about it. Every time we don't keep our word to ourselves, we erode self-trust. My clients learn. They make decisions. They make them quickly. They get into action without judgment. They look at the results. They measure them. They look at what worked, what didn't work without judgment. And then they make changes so that they can get the measurable results that they're looking for. What about you? What about you? What do you want to talk about? Last week we had, was it week before? Week before we had a psychic, talked about the psychic medium. That whole world was completely foreign to me until COVID hit. Didn't even know that world existed, right? So Erin next week is a light worker. Similar but quite different from the lady we had on 2 weeks ago. So you want to make sure you're here next week. And if you're someone that's watching this, come on, you're on the Life Coaching Today platform. That's what we're here for as coaches, is to help you. I said it on Monday. I have 2 slots. I opened up 5 slots to help women to honor my father who has passed, to meet them where they're at. Doesn't mean you get free coaching. You got to have skin in the game, or there's no reason for you to show up. But we get to craft a customized program that's going to meet you where you're at for your needs and financially. It might be a little bit of a stretch. We get to stretch, right? We don't get to be stressed, but we get to stretch because that's where we grow. If that's you, private message me. Ping me on Facebook. I don't know, LinkedIn, anywhere. At the Carol Boston, the @ at TheCarolBoston. Will get you to all my social media. Or comment here. Whether you're on #replay, let me know. This offer is only going to stay up through the first quarter. Then it goes away. I'm so much more energized now than I was when I started. And that's another beauty of showing up even when you don't feel like it, and get involved in keeping your word, right? Because if I'd canceled the show today, it wasn't that I wasn't keeping my word to you. I wouldn't have been keeping my word to myself. and we all get to grow. I've had fun being here with you today. Put it in the comments if you got a golden nugget, even if you're on #replay. Are you ready to be a professional athlete in your business? Right? That's one of the steps in what I teach my clients. Let's have a conversation. What are you waiting for? Pretty soon, first quarter of 2024 is going to be gone. And I'm excited this new opportunity I'm looking at could easily and it very well may completely replace all my one-on-one private coaching. So if that's something that you want and you know could help you grow, ping me now. Blessings to each and every one of you. Make it a great week. Be looking for our promos. Share this out. You want to be here next week when Erin is here with me. She is an amazing light worker. We talk about a lot of great things. Until then, blessings to each and every one of you. Go out. Make a commitment that you're going to smile at one person that you don't know every single day. Let me know how that makes you feel. When we lift other people up, we lift ourselves up. Blessings. Go in peace, my friends. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, brought to you by Life Coaching Today magazine, empowering your health, your business, your community, your life. Check out the latest issue today at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network asks you to please subscribe, like, comment, and spread awesome.